Look what we found in the park, in the dark. We will take him home. We will call him Clark. He will live at our house. He will grow and grow. Will our mother like this? We don't know. This is one of my favorite Dr. Seuss poems. Look at this weird creature that these kids have found. While you are exploring a deep, dark forest or some other landscape, you found a Dr. Seuss creature. What is it? What are its features and talents? Where was it living? What is its name? Imagine your own weird creature. Sometimes when people discover or encounter an animal, they decide to save that memory by taking it home and mounting it on their wall. This is called taxidermy. This is not the kind of taxidermy I want to do with you today. I want to create fantastical Dr. Seuss-like taxidermied creatures. Something where we have a head mounted on a wooden plaque, but it's a little bit more funny and unique, and we don't have to actually go hunting. So you're going to have a little wooden round peg, a round plaque, and you're going to have a ball of clay. Make sure your name is on this wooden plaque. This isn't the final plaque we'll be using it, but we can form our head on this today. So your name and your class code are right on there. Next, you can begin making your piece of air dry clay into a very, very smooth sphere. And the best way to do this is using your very own sphere forming tool, which is your hands, your palms of your hands. It's better to not use the table. I tried it a little bit here and the table will get really messy and it doesn't even work as well. So making a very round, very smooth sphere will help you with your first steps. Once something is round and sphere, you're going to use both hands to form a head that has what we call bilateral symmetry. That means that the head is symmetrical. The same thing is happening on the left as is happening on the right. Two hands help create this bilateral symmetry because my left hand might be squeezing and pinching and my right hand might be squeezing and pinching at the same time. As you form your head, your hands are just going to kind of do what they do, and you might not be able to control a lot of it. This is a new material, and your tools, your hands, have limitations. So working on making a head shape that is simple, without too skinny of a parts because those will break off, without pinching off anything and trying to reattach because those all fall off as well. You can form protrusions like I am as long as they have a thick base. Nothing that is long and skinny will be able to withstand our art class. So once things are smooth, you can use this tool. It is a paper clip. You can make things like wrinkles. You can make things like feathers or scales with this tool. And you can make other things like little scratchy furs, or you can make pores on this animal as well. So here I am really utilizing that paper clip to make marks all over a portion of my head. And since our viewers are people looking at our heads, will be able to see the sides and bottom and top, make sure that you put lots of care into the sides and bottom and top of your creature. So here I am opening that paper clip to make some pores on the top. So we can think about color and stuff later. Today is about smoothing out your creature and then adding texture. We can see that texture so much better after you smooth it out. If you have wrinkles or cracks before you add texture, we won't be able to appreciate it as much. So once you have your head formed, and it's the same on the left as on the right, you can add some features. And we have eyes. You can add 2 to 4 eyes max. And it's a little tricky because we're working so tiny. We're not using glue today, but if you can kind of push them down into the clay, they'll stay. It's tricky also to not make these eyes cloudy, and you have to wipe them off if they get some clay on them. And there I am squinching just to keep those eyes in place. We'll glue them later after everything dries if they need to be glued. And now feathers. Feathers are awesome because they can be cut, they can be trimmed, and they can be plunged down into this clay while it's still wet. So we want to get our feathers, if we're going to have any, or horns or antennae, into our clay. And you do not have to use feathers, but I want to show you how I am trimming these feathers so that they're an interesting shape. I'm not just putting two big old huge feathers in. I used one feather, I cut it in half, and I'm trimming it. It made a big mess. So when you trim feathers, please walk over to the garbage can and do it over the garbage can, because having little feather bits everywhere is massively messy. But here I am pushing that feather in. And if the feather won't push in, you can always poke a hole with your paper clip, stick the feather in, and then smush the clay to hold the feather in place. All right, so this is our goal for today. An animal that has cool formations, cool texture, and its features, its eyes, and whatever else we want to stick into it. All right, that's all. We're going to have some fun.